Alright, first and foremost, I want to say all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and His Son, Yahweh Shai, through the Holy Spirit, the Rakar Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to all the brothers pushing this work in all sincerity and in truth. And the brother Yahya from James Kingston, Jamaica Camp, here once again with a quick lesson. As you can see on the screen, this lesson is based off of an article that was posted on June the 21st, which basically states that the Bank of Israel has already tested a digital shekel, right? Now, what a shekel, you may ask? So a shekel is the basic monetary unit of modern Israel, right? So it's a basic monetary unit of Israel, and they are in the process of testing or running pilot programs of digital shekels. You understand? So now, this is basically a finance.yahoo.com article on it, on the matter. But I'm going to read from a different article that's a little bit more clear, in my opinion. Right? So this is from JPost, which basically means Jerusalem Post.com. So it says that Israel has already tested a digital shekel cryptocurrency. Right? So it says the concept of issuing such a currency has been in discussion since 2017, but it decided to accelerate its research and preparation for the potential issuance. Now, it's really spooky that 2 years before the pandemic came into effect, they decided to accelerate their research and preparation. Right? That's somewhat spooky, right? Because if you notice that the pandemic has actually been used as a catalyst as well for the implementation of such technologies, right? Read it on. So Israel has already conducted a pilot test of a digital shekel cryptocurrency. Bank of Israel Deputy Governor Andrew Aber said, perhaps inadvertently, at a recent conference of the Fair Valley Forum of IDC Herzliya. Toward the end of a panel discussion, Aber said the Bank of Israel had already run a digital currency pilot. Right? So now what's a pilot? Right? Let's see. Alright, it brings up the definition of a pilot in the true context of what it's being used as right here. So basically a pilot is the first testing phase of a sequence of things. You understand? So they are saying that them already run a digital currency pilot means that they are testing the first processing of, or the first phase of a series or a sequence of things. Just like how with episodes or a series, right? The first beginning stage of the series is the pilot, right? Now the pilot sets the stage for all the other series that is to come, right? Within that for all the other episodes to come within that series. Understand? So it says another member of the panel seemed surprised and asked, "You have already issued a coin?" Aber responded in the affirmative, meaning that he basically responded in the positive manner, in agreement that they had already issued a coin, right? So it continues and says, however, Aber said he was not optimistic that such a central bank digital currency would ever be launched, right? So he says that he was not optimistic because best believe that this is the way of the future. You understand? And it continues and says, and had previously estimated that the chance of having a CBDC within 5 years is 20%. Right? They haven't stated as to how long ago he actually estimated this, right? But there is a major jump, as you'll see, from 20% to a 50% chance. They haven't said within which time frame. Now, the reason why I'm making note of this is because will actually show you how fast the development of this technology is being pushed to be implemented, right? So it says that within 5 years is 20%. Iber said, my estimate has increased a bit in the last year. Okay, so basically it's saying that last year we can basically assess that he estimated it to be 20% chance last year of being implemented within 5 years. So now this year, right, so you say my estimate has increased a bit in the last year, mainly because other countries are advancing with it too, but still is less than 50% chance, right? So last year you had a 20% chance, right, of it being implemented and launched. Now this year you have less than 50% chance. Now how much less than 50% chance are you talking about, right? Is it 5% less than 50% chance? Because when you assess this, you can see that it is being the chance and likelihood of it being implemented within the next 5 years is basically has heightened. It has increased, and it has increased mainly because other countries are pushing for this thing, showing you that it's a global agenda, right, which basically ties in with Revelation chapter 13 verse 50 verse 16, 15 and down. They're roughly about, you understand? It ties in, right? And you can see where this agenda is going. It shows you when you actually go into, because this cryptocurrency development by the CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency, right? This development actually is going to basically be in coordination with the blockchain technology. And when you observe the level of governance they will have over transaction, right, it shows you that they can actually suspend your use of the currency without warning. They have a great level of control, understand, showing you that your freedom of transaction can be relinquished at any time, right? So the article continues and says, in May, the Bank of Israel said it was preparing an action plan for how it would offer a digital currency. The concept of issuing such a currency has been in discussion since 2017, but it decided to accelerate its research and preparation for the potential issuance in view of the rapid developments in digital economy and in payments, and in view of the major central banks' work on the issue. Understand? So these are some of the reasons why they are claiming to be increasing research, right, and development of the CBDC, right? So it says a CBDC would rely on distributed ledger technologies such as blockchain, right? So now let's look into a little bit into what the blockchain technology is all about, right? So this is euromoney.com. It says blockchain is a system of recording information in a way that makes it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. So all forms of monetary transactions that is being done within this system is monitored at a high level. You can't cheat, hack, or basically alter the system. That is what they are coming to. Everything will be basically recorded in ledgers, right, across a network. Understand? Each block within this network will have all currencies and transactions from different countries within the entire world. You understand? So it's difficult for basically say you have to alter this ledger system, right? It says a blockchain is essentially a digital ledger of transactions that is duplicated and distributed across the entire network of computer systems on the blockchain, right? So there will be recorded transaction of individuals in Jamaica basically being recorded in America. Transactions being recorded of you in China, Indonesia, all over the world, man. You understand? So it continues and says, Each block in the chain contains a number of transactions, and every time a new transaction occurs on the blockchain, a record of that transaction is added to every participant's ledger. The decentralized database managed by multiple participants is known as distributed ledger technology. Blockchain is a type of DLT in which transactions are recorded with an immutable cryptographic signature called an hash, right? So an hash is basically an encrypted form of plain text, right? Plain text would be like a word. For instance, the word would be Manuel, and that word will be hashed, basically coming up with a different styling in an encoded manner, right? The word would be basically placed in an encoded manner for you to understand, right? So it says the properties of distributed ledger technology, right? So these are the properties. It is programmable. Them say it's secure, and them say it's anonymous, right? Which I don't tend to believe that. There must be a backdoor in how they can basically maneuver the thing. You understand? Them say it distributed, and them say it, immutable, and it's time stamped, right? All of these things them say about the blockchain, right? Now we can jump back to the article because we basically get the main concept of what they have saying about these things, right? So the article, when we go back to the article says what? It says that the CBDCs would rely on distributed ledger technologies such as blockchain, but it would be different from cryptocurrencies that are popular today, including Bitcoin. The most important difference is that while cryptocurrencies do not belong to any specific country, and some are characterized by having no central authority to manage them, a CBDC issued by a country's central bank would be regulated by the relevant state authorities. You understand? So basically all of these powers would be placed in the hand of the government, right? You can read down into the article a little bit more and get a better understanding of what is happening. They're going to speak about the quote-unquote protections that they have over it, you understand, and how it might benefit the economy, seeing that the economy is moving into a digital phase where digital is the main process in which transactions are being had. And they are going to also talk about the security levels in terms of not being able to hack the blockchain, because the blockchain, if you hack, you have to basically hack all the networks, right, on the blockchain for there to be a change to take effect. You understand? Basically an alternate change to take effect from what is the true standard of what was already there. You understand? So that is what they're going to explain into, right? But now when you pray this thing on a spiritual level, it shows you, right? It shows you this in the book of Revelation chapter 13. Basically says what? Revelation 13 verse 16 says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Because right now it is being done where transactions can basically be coming from your phone, right? Or it can come from your online accounts. But what they want to do is that they want to basically have a certain level of control over individuals' physical being within society as well. So they want to chip you and put the RFID chip within you, man. You understand? So the word cause it means to prepare all, right? Putting everybody in the process of getting digital. That's why throughout this pandemic, you have certain governments. One of the ones I know about personally is here in Jamaica, where they have relaxed the know your client policy, right? So the know your client policy is basically having a certain level of what do you call it now? Certain level of understanding of each individual's personal transactions that they do on a monthly or daily basis, right? So if there appears any irregularity within one individual's lodgements to the bank or individual's transaction with the bank, right? There has to be a particular reason, right? There has to be either a change in job, right, or some form of side hustle that has caused these individuals to increase transactions in monetary wise, right? So for instance, if them used to do on average 100 grand per month, and this individual start to do on average $500,000 per month, the next month him gone to $1,000,000, and the other month him gone to $2,000,000. The bank will have to investigate this matter to see what exactly is this individual doing to basically be increasing funds like that, right? So the government has relaxed this policy, right? So if certain little shaky things are happen, it basically not gonna pay as much attention to it. You understand? Even though them have a threshold of where you can actually say, okay, it's time to investigate. You understand? But the relaxation of this policy actually shows that they are trying to influence more and more people to come into the system. And when they come into the system, they are preparing them to basically be comfortable using the CBDC and to use the blockchain technology, and at the end of the day to receive the RFID chip. You understand? You can see it clearly, man. You understand? We live in the time of the end. The end is being manifested. You understand? So jumping from there to the book of Psalms 64, right? Psalm 64 verse 2, it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, evil bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune to lay snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Right? The prophets are going to see them, because all of these things we actually been seeing and watching the development of these things and see where it's heading to. Understand? All of these things are precursor for one thing. Understand? Precursor for the implementation of the RFID chip. Understand? And we're seeing it happen on a daily basis. We see pilot programs being launched worldwide, and the article just said it, that you have other countries which are accelerating their research into this manner. So you can see that it's a global agenda, man, and you're seeing where it's leading to, right? As the scripture says, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Understand? We are Satan are doing things, which Satan comes from the Hebrew word shatan, which basically means adversary, right? We're seeing what the adversary is doing, and the adversary is the so-called white man, yo. Understand? The so-called white man, mainly the elite of the so-called white man, the Rothschilds, the Duponts, the Gettys, the Rockefellers, all of them man, they actually have basically conspiring to put the world under a great level of subjection. You understand? So with that, hope that this lesson was edifying unto the elect of the nation of Israel. I want to say Kalalal, Yahweh, Bashem Yoshai, Bashem Kwadash, the bonus to the elders and apostles of Great Stone, and citations to all the brothers pushing this work in all sincerity and truth. Shalom.